Ford is on the brink of collapsing. Its cars are gathering dust, and nobody is buying their junk anymore. Is this the end of an American legend? Once a symbol of American ingenuity, Ford now faces a storm. It may not survive. Plummeting sales, outdated strategies, and frustrated customers. This isn't just a temporary slump, it's a crisis that's shaking the foundations of this giant. So why has everyone turned their backs on Ford? What's causing dealerships to struggle under the weight of unsold inventory? And most importantly, how is this going to affect you? What's happening? Ford is facing what many are calling the biggest challenge in its history. The company is now grappling with a wave of problems that seem to have no clear solution. Sales are down, and not just by a little. In the past 5 years, Ford has seen a sharp decline in market share, with even its most iconic models losing ground to competitors. Let's talk about the F-150, for example. This was the crown jewel of Ford's lineup, dominating the truck market for decades. But today, even this titan is being overtaken by rivals like Ram and Chevrolet. Reports show that Ford's truck sales have dropped by double digits in just the last year alone. Dealerships are struggling to move inventory, with some lots holding vehicles for months without a single sale. And then there's the EV market, which Ford had hoped would be its saving grace. The Mustang Mach-E was supposed to rival Tesla's electric cars, but instead, it's fallen short. Production delays, high prices, and lukewarm consumer reception have left Ford trailing behind Tesla and even General Motors in the race for electric vehicle dominance. So why is this happening? Ford's descent. The answer lies in a combination of missteps and changing consumer preferences. Ford made a bold decision a few years ago to phase out most of its sedans, focusing instead on SUVs and trucks. On paper, this made sense. After all, demand for SUVs was skyrocketing. But here's the catch. Ford underestimated how competitive that market would become. Brands like Toyota and Honda flooded the SUV space with models that were not only more reliable, but also more affordable. Meanwhile, Ford's offerings were plagued by quality issues. Recalls became more frequent, and customers started to lose trust. Take the Ford Explorer, for instance. Once a favorite among families, it's now infamous for transmission problems and other mechanical failures. And let's not forget pricing. In an economy where consumers are already tightening their wallets, Ford's vehicles are simply too expensive for what they offer. The Mach-E, for instance, starts at a price point that puts it out of reach for many middle-class buyers. When competitors are delivering better performance and features at lower prices, it's no wonder Ford is losing customers. The problems don't stop at consumer preferences. Ford's internal strategies have been a significant contributor to its current struggles. Leadership decisions have prioritized short-term profits over long-term stability. Cutting corners in production has led to quality issues that erode consumer confidence. The result: recalls, frustrated customers, and a tarnished brand image. But it's not just about the cars themselves. Ford's relationship with its dealerships has also taken a hit. Dealers have reported feeling unsupported as they struggle to move unsold inventory. Unlike competitors who have ramped up incentives and marketing support, Ford has tightened its budgets, leaving dealers to fend for themselves. Even Ford's attempts at innovation have been mismanaged. The Hurricane engine was supposed to be a game changer, offering better fuel efficiency and performance. Instead, it's been met with skepticism from loyal customers who miss the power of traditional V8 engines. It's a classic case of a company failing to understand its audience. Leadership crisis. Ford's downfall can't simply be attributed to bad luck or tough competition. It's a story of leadership failures that go back years. The company's decision makers have made a series of missteps, often prioritizing short-term gains over long-term strategy. These choices have not only hurt Ford's reputation, but have also left it vulnerable in a rapidly changing industry. Let's begin with the controversial decision to phase out sedans. A few years ago, Ford announced it would stop producing nearly all sedans in favor of SUVs and trucks. At the time, it seemed logical. Consumer demand was shifting toward larger vehicles. But Ford underestimated just how important sedans still were to a large segment of the market. Competitors like Toyota and Honda continued to invest in their sedan lineups, with models like the Camry and Accord maintaining steady sales. Meanwhile, Ford abandoned these customers entirely, pushing them toward competitors and effectively giving up market share. This decision highlighted a deeper issue. Ford's leadership appears reactive rather than proactive. Instead of innovating or predicting market trends, the company seems to follow them, and often too late. This lack of foresight has been costly, especially in the electric vehicle market, where Ford trails far behind competitors like Tesla and General Motors. Then there's the issue of cost cutting. While trimming expenses is often necessary during tough times, Ford's approach has been short-sighted. Reports from within the company suggest that production schedules were rushed and investments in quality control were scaled back. This has led to a surge in recalls ranging from minor inconveniences to major safety issues. For example, faulty transmissions in the Ford Explorer and problems with the Mustang Mach-E's battery system have eroded consumer trust. Cost-cutting may have saved Ford money in the short term, but the long-term damage to its reputation is far more expensive. Another significant issue is the strained relationship between Ford's leadership and its dealerships. Dealers play a crucial role in Ford's success. They are the ones selling vehicles to customers after all. Yet many dealers have reported feeling abandoned by Ford's corporate leadership. Policies that reduce incentives for dealerships, combined with oversupply issues, have left dealers struggling to move inventory. Unlike competitors who have stepped up support for their dealer networks, Ford seems to be leaving its partners to fend for themselves. The result of all these leadership failures is clear: declining sales, unhappy dealers, and a tarnished brand image. Ford's leadership seems more focused on chasing trends and cutting costs than on building a sustainable future for the company. Reliability issues. If leadership failures set the stage for Ford's struggles, quality control issues have delivered the knockout punch. Ford has long been a trusted name in the automotive industry, but that trust is quickly eroding. Over the past few years, the company has faced an avalanche of recalls, leaving customers frustrated and questioning the reliability of its vehicles. In 2022 alone, Ford led the industry in recalls, affecting over 8 million vehicles. Think about that. 8 million cars with potential safety or performance issues. These aren't minor inconveniences. They're serious problems that undermine the very foundation of customer trust. When people buy a car, they expect it to be reliable. For many, a recall is a deal breaker that pushes them to consider other brands. Let's take a closer look at some of the specific issues plaguing Ford vehicles. The Ford Explorer, once a symbol of reliability and family-friendly utility, has become infamous for its mechanical problems. Customers have reported issues with the transmission, electrical systems, and even structural components. These aren't isolated incidents. They're widespread problems that have led to massive recalls and lawsuits. The quality issues aren't limited to Ford's traditional vehicles. The Mustang Mach-E, which was supposed to be Ford's answer to Tesla, has also faced significant reliability concerns. Early adopters of this electric vehicle have reported everything from software glitches to complete power failures. Imagine buying a cutting-edge EV only to find that it doesn't perform as promised. It's a frustrating experience that turns potential brand advocates into vocal critics. These quality control failures aren't just hurting Ford's reputation, they're also costing the company billions of dollars. Each recall represents not only a loss of consumer trust, but also a financial hit in the form of repair costs and legal fees. It's a lose-lose situation that Ford seems unable to escape. The root of these problems lies in Ford's production process. Employees and insiders have reported rushed schedules and inadequate testing protocols. In their race to get vehicles to market, Ford has sacrificed the very thing that once made it a trusted name: quality. This isn't just about cutting corners, it's about undermining the core values that customers expect from a brand like Ford. When you add it all up, the recalls, the lawsuits, and the production issues, it's clear that Ford's quality control problems are more than just a bump in the road. They're a sign of deeper dysfunction within the company, and they're driving customers away in droves. Ford's disconnect. While leadership failures and quality issues have done significant damage, Ford's inability to adapt to changing consumer preferences is perhaps its biggest flaw. The automotive market is evolving rapidly, and customers are demanding more than ever from their vehicles. Unfortunately, Ford has struggled to keep up. One of the biggest shifts in consumer behavior has been the growing demand for electric and hybrid vehicles. As gas prices rise and environmental concerns become more pressing, more and more buyers are turning to fuel-efficient options. Brands like Tesla and Toyota have capitalized on this trend, offering a range of vehicles that appeal to eco-conscious consumers. Ford, on the other hand, has been slow to adapt. While the company has made some progress with models like the Mustang Mach-E and the F-150 Lightning, these vehicles are often priced out of reach for the average buyer. When customers compare Ford's offerings to those of its competitors, they often find better value elsewhere. Another area where Ford has fallen behind is technology. Today's drivers expect their vehicles to come equipped with advanced safety features, seamless connectivity, and intuitive interfaces. Ford's vehicles, however, often feel outdated in this regard. Take the infotainment systems, for example. Customers have reported that they're clunky, slow, and prone to glitches. In a market where technology can make or break a buying decision, this is a major disadvantage. Affordability is another critical factor. For many buyers, the price of a vehicle is the most important consideration. Ford's pricing strategy, however, has alienated a significant portion of its customer base. The Mach-E, for instance, starts at over $45,000, while the F-150 Lightning can easily surpass $70,000 with upgrades. These price points put Ford's vehicles out of reach for many middle-class buyers, especially when competitors are offering similar or better options for less. The result of all this is a growing sense that Ford simply doesn't understand its audience. By failing to deliver what customers want, whether it's affordability, reliability, or cutting-edge technology, Ford is not only losing sales, but also eroding the trust and loyalty that it worked so hard to build. Missed opportunities. Ford's struggles don't exist in a vacuum. While the company has been stumbling, its competitors have been thriving. Brands like Toyota, Tesla, and Chevrolet have not only recognized market trends, but also adapted to them in ways that leave Ford lagging behind. You can take Toyota. The Japanese automaker has long been known for its reliability and innovation. While Ford has faced recall after recall, Toyota has maintained its reputation for quality. This has allowed the company to build a loyal customer base that trusts its vehicles. Toyota has also been a leader in the hybrid market, with models like the Prius remaining popular even as competitors struggle to break into the space. Tesla, on the other hand, has set the standard for electric vehicles. While Ford is still playing catch-up, Tesla has established itself as the go-to brand for EV buyers. Tesla's Model 3, for instance, is not only more affordable than the Mustang Mach-E, but also offers better performance and technology. For many consumers, the choice is clear, and it's not Ford. Even Chevrolet, one of Ford's oldest rivals, has managed to outperform the company in key areas. The Chevrolet Silverado, for example, has become a strong competitor to the F-150, offering similar capabilities at a lower price point. Chevrolet has also made strides in the EV market, with models like the Bolt appealing to budget-conscious buyers. What makes this even more frustrating for Ford is that it had opportunities to lead in many of these areas. The company was an early adopter of hybrid technology with models like the Fusion Hybrid, but it failed to build on this momentum. Similarly, Ford's trucks have long been market leaders, but a lack of innovation and rising prices have allowed competitors to close the gap. In many ways, Ford's current struggles are a reflection of missed opportunities. The company had the tools and the talent to remain a leader in the automotive industry, but a combination of poor leadership, quality control issues, and a failure to adapt to changing consumer preferences have left Ford in a precarious position. Dealership struggles. The impact of Ford's troubles isn't confined to its corporate offices. It's rippling through its dealership network, where the effects are most visible. Ford's dealerships, the front line for customers, are grappling with mounting pressures caused by declining sales, excessive inventory, and diminishing trust in the brand. Imagine being a Ford dealer today. Vehicles are piling up on your lot, unsold for months, with fewer and fewer customers walking through the door. As of early 2024, some dealers reported holding over 90 days worth of inventory, far above the industry average. This excess supply is more than just an inconvenience. It's a financial burden. Dealerships must pay to maintain these vehicles, from insurance and storage to maintenance, while also missing out on potential revenue from faster moving inventory. One of the most significant complaints from dealerships is Ford's lack of support. Unlike competitors who have stepped up with incentives, marketing campaigns, and financial aid to their dealer networks, Ford's approach has been underwhelming. Instead of offering solutions, Ford has tightened budgets, leaving dealers to shoulder the burden alone. Dealers have expressed frustration with policies that tie their compensation to vehicle shipments rather than actual sales, creating a system where they're penalized for struggling markets. The result is a growing divide between Ford's corporate leadership and its dealers. Many feel that Ford isn't listening to their concerns or adapting to the realities of the market. This strained relationship not only hurts dealers, but also affects customers, who rely on dealerships for sales, service, and support. When dealerships are struggling, customer experiences inevitably suffer, leading to even further erosion of trust in the brand. Impact on competitors. While Ford struggles to maintain its footing, its competitors are seizing the opportunity opportunity to fill the gaps left behind. Brands like Toyota, Chevrolet, and Tesla are not only gaining market share, but also reshaping the competitive landscape of the automotive industry. Chevrolet, for instance, has made significant strides in the truck market. The Silverado, a long-standing rival to Ford's F-150, has gained ground by offering a mix of reliability, competitive pricing, and advanced technology. Chevrolet has also capitalized on Ford's faltering reputation for quality by emphasizing its own durability and dependability in marketing campaigns. This strategy has resonated with customers, particularly those who feel disillusioned by Ford's recent struggles. Then there's Toyota, a brand that has consistently outperformed Ford in the SUV and sedan markets. Toyota's reputation for reliability and efficiency has helped it attract customers who might have once considered Ford vehicles. The RAV4 and Highlander have become go-to choices for families seeking SUVs, leaving models like the Ford Escape and Edge struggling to keep up. And of course, Tesla is dominating the EV space, a market Ford hoped to conquer with its Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning. Tesla's vehicles are not only technologically superior, but also perceived as trendier and more forward-thinking. For many consumers, Tesla represents the future of the automotive industry, while Ford feels stuck in the past. What makes this shift particularly damaging for Ford is that it's not just losing market share, it's losing customer loyalty. Many of the customers abandoning Ford are finding satisfaction with competitors, making it unlikely they'll return. This isn't just a temporary setback for Ford, it's a long-term threat to its position in the industry. Consumer consequences. Ford's struggles aren't just bad news for the company, they have real consequences for consumers, whether or not they drive a Ford. From rising prices to limited options, the fallout from Ford's missteps is reshaping the experience of buying and owning a vehicle. Let's start with pricing. As Ford sales decline, the company has tried to maintain profitability by increasing the prices of its vehicles. This strategy might work in the short term, but it's alienating a large segment of potential buyers. The rising costs of popular models like the F-150 and Explorer are pushing many consumers to consider more affordable alternatives. Even in the used car market, Ford vehicles are becoming less attractive as customers weigh their options against competitors. Then there's the issue of reliability. For those who already own Ford vehicles, the surge in recalls has been a nightmare. Imagine buying a brand new car only to receive multiple recall notices within the first year. This isn't just inconvenient, it's a betrayal of the trust customers place in a brand, and it's not just about fixing mechanical issues. Each recall represents time and money spent on repairs, not to mention the stress of worrying about potential safety risks. The decline in dealership health also affects consumers directly. When dealerships are struggling to stay afloat, they often have fewer resources to invest in customer service. This can lead to longer wait times for maintenance, less personalized service, and even the closure of local dealerships. For many Ford customers, this means fewer options for repairs and support, especially in rural areas where alternatives might be limited. Ford's struggles have a broader economic impact. The company employs thousands of workers, from factory employees to office staff, and its dealer network supports countless jobs across the country. As Ford continues to falter, layoffs and plant closures are becoming more common. This not only hurts the workers directly affected, but also has a ripple effect on local economies, particularly in regions heavily dependent on the automotive industry. The future of Ford. Ford is at a crossroads, and its future has never been more uncertain. The company's legacy as a trailblazer in the automotive industry is undeniable, but the challenges it faces today require more than a reliance on past glories. The question is, can Ford adapt quickly enough to survive in a market that is evolving faster than ever? One potential path for Ford lies in its electric vehicle strategy. The Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning were meant to signal Ford's commitment to the future, but their rocky launches have raised doubts. High prices, limited availability, and quality concerns have kept these vehicles from becoming the game changers Ford hoped they would be. If Ford wants to compete with Tesla and other EV leaders, it will need to address these issues head-on and introduce models that are both affordable and reliable. Another challenge for Ford is rebuilding trust. Years of recalls, rising prices, and perceived neglect of customer needs have taken a toll on the company's reputation. To win back loyalty, Ford must prove that it can deliver on its promises. This means improving quality control, offering better support to dealerships, and listening to the concerns of its customers. Internally, Ford will need to reassess its leadership strategies. The company's current trajectory suggests a lack of clear vision, with short-term fixes taking precedence over long-term long-term planning. For Ford to thrive, it will need leaders who can balance innovation with stability, ensuring that the company remains competitive without alienating its core audience. The stakes are high and time is running out. If Ford fails to turn things around, it risks becoming the latest in a long line of once great companies that couldn't keep up with the times. But if it succeeds, it could reclaim its position as a leader in the automotive world and set a new standard for what a modern car company can achieve. Industry implications. Ford's struggles are more than just a company-specific problem. They're a reflection of broader challenges facing the automotive industry. From supply chain disruptions to the rapid shift toward electrification, the industry is undergoing a transformation that is leaving many traditional automakers scrambling to adapt. One of the biggest industry-wide challenges is the transition to EVs. Governments around the world are tightening emissions regulations, and consumers are increasingly prioritizing sustainability. For automakers like Ford, this means a complete overhaul of production processes, supply chains, and marketing strategies. But while companies like Tesla and Rivian are thriving in this new landscape, legacy automakers are finding it harder to pivot. The pressure to innovate is immense, and those that fail to keep up risk falling by the wayside. The rise of technology in vehicles is another major factor reshaping the industry. Consumers now expect their cars to function as seamlessly as their smartphones, with advanced safety features, intuitive interfaces, and constant connectivity. Companies that can integrate these technologies effectively are gaining a competitive edge, while those that struggle to keep up, like Ford, are losing ground. What happens to Ford will serve as a case study for the entire industry. If the company can navigate these changes successfully, it will provide a roadmap for other automakers to follow. But if it fails, it will serve as a cautionary tale, illustrating the risks of complacency in a rapidly evolving market. How is this going to affect you? Even if you don't drive a Ford, the company's struggles are likely to impact you in one way or another. As one of the largest automakers in the world, Ford plays a significant role in shaping the broader automotive landscape. Its challenges and potential collapse could have far-reaching consequences for consumers, competitors, and the economy as a whole. Ford's struggles could lead to reduced competition in the market. If the company continues to lose market share, it may be forced to scale back its operations, reducing the variety of vehicles available to consumers. This could drive up prices across the board, as fewer options mean less competition to keep costs in check. Ford's issues are also likely to affect the used car market. As the company recalls more vehicles and faces ongoing quality concerns, the resale value of Ford cars could take a hit. This is bad news not only for Ford owners looking to sell, but also for buyers seeking affordable options in the used market. Then there's the economic impact. Ford employs tens of thousands of people directly, and its operations support countless jobs in related industries, from suppliers to dealerships. If Ford is forced to downsize or close plants, the ripple effects could be devastating, particularly in regions that rely heavily on the automotive industry. Layoffs and closures would affect not only Ford workers, but also local businesses and economies. Finally, Ford's struggles highlight a broader trend that affects all consumers: the rising cost of vehicles. As automakers face increasing pressure to invest in EVs, integrate advanced technologies, and navigate supply chain challenges, the cost of producing cars is going up. This is being passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices, making car ownership less accessible for many people. At the end of the day, what happens to Ford is about more than just one company. It's about the future of the automotive industry and how it will adapt to the challenges of the 21st century. Whether Ford can rise to the occasion or becomes a relic of the past remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the stakes couldn't be higher. And there you have it, the unraveling of one of the most iconic names in the automotive world. But what do you think? Is this truly the end for Ford? Or can they make a comeback? We want to hear from you.